What's good, family? Today we're going to be talking about NBA 2K and the dream of shooting in this game. With a lot of deep details about what is, what should be, and possibly what's happening in 2K26 as well. But let's talk about a couple of these things that's very vital. First and foremost, we want this to be a fluid experience. All right. We just talked about dribbling in my last video when it comes to this series that I'm doing, covering what I believe could be the Dream 2K. And shooting is a big, vital thing in any shooting game, any basketball game. So we're going to dive deep into it. Before we do, make sure you leave a like and comment and subscribe for more. We are trying to have some fun with this, and we're going to be giving away some VC to commenters as we go throughout the year. So make sure you lock in for that. With that being said, man, shooting is super interesting because everybody has opinions and feelings and things like that. So I'm going to dive in and kind of just share some of my stuff and go forward. So shooting hasn't changed pretty much in the history of 2K until the past 5 years or so, when they started introducing variable timing depending on the animation that you're in. And then also when they started introducing this recent 2K25 RNG. Now, I don't want to get too deep into it if you're not a 2K head. RNG is something that the developers put in, and they said it was specifically to try to combat against cheaters from who are using scripts and programs and devices to make their shots. I can understand or respect that, but you shouldn't punish a community for that. So that is a problem, and I do say remove the RNG. I think the community is confused between RNG and the variable timing. So like if I do a catch and shoot versus a turn around, spin, fade, pull up, type of shot, the timing is different for that shot versus me catch and shoot. It's totally different. And so I'm okay with the different timings, right? As long as it's reasonable, meaning my catch and shoot, I know that what that is. It's only one catch and shoot animation most of the time, right? Like I shouldn't have 10 different catch and shoot timings and animations that I have to time. Same thing with my fades, right? Like once I put a fade, certain pull up on, I should know exactly that timing once I practice. It shouldn't change multiple ways. And that's where that RNG is an issue. Same thing with all the other type of shooting, okay? There's a lot of different things that happen with shooting that, I'm cool with. Like I said, if I'm doing a post-up fade, some Kobe, and that's fine. Okay, there's another time in there, but don't change it every two minutes. And I think everybody can agree to that. And whoever doesn't, that's crazy. And then as far as the second part of that conversation, and going a little deeper into shooting overall, the green or miss is super important. So meaning if I time my shot, I make my shot. That's it. Don't give me all this extra stuff. And to me, green or miss means that like those timings that I've mastered are going to always go in. That should be what I get given without a shadow of doubt. So that's just common sense to a certain extent. And I personally don't want to spend too much time on those things because I do agree with myself. Let me know if you agree in the comments with that part of it. Now, this is the part where y'all gonna have a debate and a conversation with yourselves in my comments. And I'm glad to kind of engage in some of it. The truth is that, yes, without a shadow of doubt, rhythm shooting has been super controversial. It's been extremely controversial, and not in a good way. I think rhythm shooting was introduced with RNG, which was the biggest problem. If rhythm shooting was introduced in 2K16, 15, 17, and any of the so-called beloved years, nobody would probably have that big of a problem compared to this year where we had a problem with RNG and it was a big issue. And then on top of that RNG, the rhythm shooting was a new feature adding on. So it's like stacking up more problems. If someone's having trouble with the RNG shooting and they're upset, and now they got to rhythm shoot and learn how to do that, and it's even more upsetting because you're already dealing with multiple issues. So I believe that when they introduced this feature, which is shooting with the right stick, you have to basically time twice, which is a great feature. And I think it's amazing, right? But it was introduced at the worst possible time, where 2K25 had major issues with that. So I want to kind of make sure you understand that before I say what I'm saying. I think that rhythm shooting is great. There should be stick shooting, just like there's stick dunking. You're watching in my highlights here. Some of my dunks are basically skill dunks. And that means that I'm going to have the chance to do a contact dunk against somebody. That is a good feature to allow me to be a little better than other players who might just press one button and try to do a layup or dunk. Okay. And so with that in mind, you know, the conversation about rhythm shooting having too much of a boost, I think, yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe they can lower it and then also make it so that you have to time both. You can't like slightly miss a little. It has to be perfect. And I don't think they did that this year, and that was a big problem. So the hope for 2K26, since they're saying it's green or miss, that means rhythm shooting will get nerfed to a certain extent. And that means we'll have a more balanced game where it's like, if I just try to rhythm shoot and I slightly miss my tempo, I'm still going to make the shot half the time in some of these modes. And now that's not going to be the case. So that could be a victory for us players, and we can see how that works. And I want to kind of give y'all a little baby demo about how that feels and plays. So we're looking at the game now. I'm going to hold the right stick down and I'm just going to let it go. And that's a regular shot, right? But if I hold it down and I flick it up at the right time, I can get that shot right there. And it went in and it said that I had good timing. And some reason I'm making my shots. I'm not that good at this, guys. I haven't rhythm shot in a while. Look, very late and it still went in. Okay. That is a big problem in 2K. And so I don't want that. And so I'm going to purposely hold my button a little long and then release it after. As you can see right there, that one missed. And so this feature isn't okay. Okay. If I don't time my shot, I should have made it. And I keep talking about Mario Kart being a game that has better competitive integrity than 2K, because they make you get in the car and you don't have any advantages other than other players. You play and whoever's more skilled wins. And that's embarrassing that 2K has all these features where they allow other players to go through that. So if they can just switch that up and make it so that, yeah, if you rhythm shoot good, go for it. It's amazing. But reward players who actually do it, not reward players who can't do it. Right. So when I go to skill dunk, as you're going to watch here, I'm not getting rewarded for slightly or anything like that. I have to time it. And so that should be the same thing for shooting. And then we'll be good to go, and then keep it consistent. And what I mean by that is that, like, if I do a specific move every time and I shoot in that specific pull up or the specific catch and shoot, it should be the same. And that's how I feel about all that. And that's what I feel about shooting for the most part. There's another conversation to have with contests, and I don't want to kind of stress this too much because we're going to talk about defense in a minute. But in the shooting portion of it is shooting over smaller defenders. I think that's a good thing. I know people are going to get mad at me for this for the 2K25. It was a little overpowered. You know, your 5'9s were useless. When you got a center, a 6'6" guy or so whatever, just shooting over your head every time. I think that's good because that's realistic. You see Kevin Durant, he has a smooth game. It's because his height helps him. But at the same time, contest has to be useful in the game. And that's where defense, you know, that's a different topic for another video. But that's important. So I want to get into that system of being able to time your shot when you're getting contests. So there is a smaller green window when you're getting contest, right? So you want to take open shots. It just makes the game easier. We get that. But here's the problem. Sometimes it's not consistent. And what makes a good contest, right? Your height, your perimeter defense, right? Maybe your jumping ability, not as much. And the numbers on that is confusing to players. And that's why you'll see somebody on social media, they'll post, look at this, look at this. And it's like perfect defense, but his perimeter, he forgot to put his stats, his perimeters at a 50, and he ain't got no vertical, and he's sitting there getting mad because somebody that's 6'8" shot over him or whatever. This is perfect defense. It's like, sure. I mean, I've shot over taller people than me easily because they were too slow, and I just was like, boom, hit my shots in real life, I'm talking. And so in a video game, I would think the NBA players don't really get bothered all the time. So this is where 2K has to do a better job to teach people. For example, the feedback machine sucks because people get confused. It says smothered. And it's like, you weren't smothered. Maybe the feedback was just bad. And I noticed that. I feel like that is a part of the problem. So for me, having like a pure system where it's like, you're not going to be capable. Like I would do a whole tutorial guide. Like you got to play this tutorial guide on contest, which is a whole nother conversation that we'll get into. But that could teach you like, okay, well, yeah. And so I would say giving people the understanding how contest works. So like I hit an open shot, cool. If I shoot the same shot with some contests, the green window's tiny. So I can't get mad that I missed. I have to time it. You can see in all these videos, I'm wide open. There isn't a video of a lot of them that I've taken contested, unless it's just like really good defender and so that's an example. I try to take open shots. Sometimes I got to take contested, and it's fine too because I love taking those. So that's that. We're gonna save this defensive conversation for my next video, but make sure you leave a like and comment if this was informative, and subscribe for more. And my next video for defense, the Dream Def 2K, is gonna be popping up, and I hope y'all enjoy that as we continue to talk about what a Dream 2K could be. All right. I'll see y'all on the next one. Stay blessed. Peace.